I do think there will be an escalation of violence because what we have seen over the past 50 years, ever since the war on drugs was declared from the United States, and the war on drugs, because it's often a war on people, not actually on drugs, that drugs continue to flow. But in this so called war on drugs, there is this strategy that's called the Kingpin strategy, where you take out the leader. But then, of course, there is a fight for who will take power, and that often causes factions to divide and enter into more violence. And we have seen that
True.
repeatedly. So, where I am in the state of Morelos, this is when the war on drugs was declared in 2006 with the administration of Felipe Calderon. And this is where there was the first big hit on a kingpin, which was Arturo Beltran Leva, who was killed in a shootout for 2 hours in 2009 in Morelos, very close to where I live. And that was, I didn't live here at the time, but friends who did tell me how then there was really a lot more violence following his murder. And then that was impacted in the state of Morelos and the state of Guerrero, which is one of Mexico's most dangerous states. And there was a splintering of the cartel into Los Guerreros Unidos, Los Ardillos, Los Rojos, and all of those groups are what involved in heroin trafficking, involved in fentanyl trafficking, and also the groups that were involved in the disappearance of 43 students from the Ayotzinapa school, who 12 years later, their parents are still looking for them and they don't know where they are. And then bringing it more up to date, as this is an example of almost 2 decades ago, recently we have seen in Sinaloa with the other strongest cartel in Mexico, which is the Sinaloa cartel, that there was a full splintering when Mayo Zambada was taken to the United States, and it was he was again traitor by the other members of the Sinaloa cartel, and betrayed. That was the word I was looking for. I couldn't think of it in English. And so that there was a splintering of the cartel, and with a year and a half later, Sinaloa has just seen unprecedented levels of shootouts, of violence, of road blockades, of disappearances, and that all came after the arrest of Mayo Zambada, who is now in the US and who was a leader of the Sinaloa cartel.